Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and I am working on another segment of Crazy Pages, a mixed media collaboration with Eye of Art. And we did this back in January, February-ish, I think it was. Maybe it was before that. And I've lost my days. And so that we have 9 players this time. So I'm going to pretty much start with the same idea as before. I've got 2 pieces of 11 by 15 watercolor paper here because I want to do the whole thing at once and then just cut it up after the fact. I'm lining them up here side by side, and then I'm going to use some washi tape to attach the 2 together. Just trimming off the excess washi tape. And then I'm going to turn this over and let's see what we can do here. I have a few scraps of book pages that I used for another project, and I thought, well, might as well use them up for this project. So I'm just going to lay a few of these out over here. I have made a little glue pot, if you will. There's lots of recipes online, but basically it's some kitchen sponge in an airtight container, a little bit of water, and white glue. And then I like using a peg foam brush. For some reason, to me, because I'm really vigorous with applying the glue and getting it out of this little pot, that these seem to hold up better. So let's just get started. I'm just going to lay some down. I'm not going to really pay attention to where I'm putting things right now because I'm just wanting to get a background. The whole project is about creating a mixed media background that the next person that gets it can use and make into a piece of art. By applying glue to the whole area that I want this stuck down, that ensures that when I cut this up, that if part of this didn't get glue on it, it won't fall off. So that's why I go ahead and make sure I have a good coating of glue. Well, I've put paper in just random areas all over this. I'm going to let this dry for a minute or 2 and I'll be back. Selected a few rubber stamps here and an acrylic stamp, and I think what I'm going to do is just use some Brutus Monroe Detail Ink and Raven. This is a permanent black ink, and I'm going to stamp randomly all over this. So I've stamped all over this piece just randomly because this is going to be a background, so it's not really important which direction anything's going in. And I think now what I want to do is I want to add some texture and stenciling to this. So I've got a few stencils here. These are the diamond, and this little lace background is one I made. This is from Tim Holtz, and then this one is a weird stripe that's kind of fun to play with from Brutus Monroe. I've got some the Crafter's Workshop light and fluffy modeling paste. I'm just going to start with a little bit of this here and there. See how this looks. Putting a very light coat on. You may not be able to see it right now, but later when I add other medias to this, it'll show up. I'm going to dry this with a heat tool and then add some more layers. The first layer of stenciling has dried, and so now I'm going to use the Brutus Monroe little lines and add some texture. Alright, I've added that little bit of texture on there. I'm going to clean off my tools because you don't want to leave modeling paste on there. It will gunk it up. And let this dry and I'll be back. Alright, I've got a couple of the lace stencils that I've made. And I've got some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. I've got Blarney, Maple Yellow, Simply Sheer, and Blue Bubbles. So what I think I want to do is kind of line up these stencils a little bit. Maybe not necessarily line them up, but try to cover as much space as possible. And I'm just going to spray this. because it'll rest on top of this, I'm just going to pick it up with a scrap piece of paper here to get the excess spray. And I'm going to move the stencils and the paper around and do it again. So we've added a little bit of color to this. I'm going to dry it a little bit before I move on to my next application of color. I've got some decor and DIY paint from Tattered Angels. They've got a new size now, so you don't have to get the great big one, the 8 ounce, but now they have a 1.35 ounce bottle. So I've got indigo and sterling here, and I'm going to put a little bit on my palette, and we're going to play. I've had this for a while, so it's starting to get to the bottom and get a little chunky. I may need to add some water to it. I think I'm going to use this palette knife. I already have it somewhat dirty. I'm just going to add some color. I've got a sea sponge that I've dampened with a little bit of water, and I'm going to take some of this color and smear it around just a little bit. I'm going to wash up and dry this, and I'll be back. I've got my diamond stencil, and I've got some plain gesso. I'm going to put some in a little palette here to use with my sea sponge. And we're going to add a little bit of diamonds here and there. Alright, I'm going to dry this and wash my tools, and I'll be back. I want to add a little bit more color to this. Let's see what happens when I add pop rocks, and then I've got some dazzling diamonds that I can use to dilute this if it's too dark. So I just sprayed it on there, and because I've put extra, I'm going to kind of rotate it a little bit, let it run. We're starting to see the texture come up from the stencils. Alright, I'm going to dry this and I'll be back. Well, the purple and dazzling diamonds is dry, and I decided that I want to do some more stampings on this because this paint kind of covered up a little bit of it. So I'm going to use the butterflies. This one was from Viva Las Vegas Stamps. If you've never been to Las Vegas, you need to go. If you love rubber stamps, you need to go see Viva Las Vegas Stamps because they've got some really cool things. So I'm just going to go in here and just add, and it's okay that it's not perfect. It's just a background. So that added a little bit more back into it. Okay, so where are we now? I think I'm debating. I think I may be done. Just because it's a background. I had an idea of something else I wanted to add, but I think this will be pretty good. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to coat the entire thing with a spray fixative so that'll be sealed so that if anybody wants to work on top of it, the Tattered Angels won't move. And then I'm going to cut it up into smaller pieces, and I'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like. Well, here are the cut up crazy pages. I went ahead and went to my sewing machine and added a little stitching on there since I have a tendency to sew on things. And then this is what the pieces look like. They're roughly 5 inches. Some of them are 5 by 5. Some of them are 5 by 5.5. I got a little carried away when I was cutting. But I like the way these look. And we're going to do this swap where the other participants will get these pages and then they will alter them or use them in their projects. So definitely check out my description box for links to the other connectors. Some of them are doing on YouTube, some of them are sharing on Facebook, so you can see what their pages look like, and then definitely come back when I get all the pages in to see what I'm going to do with them. I hope you enjoyed seeing just some mixed media play, some fun. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's messy, and it's just neat the way these turn out because this could be turned into a journaling card. It could become an element on a cover of a journal card, or the cover of a journal. Could be a greeting card that you make out of it. You could cut this into artist trading cards. There's no limit to what you do with these. So I hope you enjoyed that and that you're inspired to just sit and play and have a good time. Remember, check out the other participants by checking my description box for links to their videos and or Facebook. And if you haven't already, like this video. If you did, share it with your friends so that others can see this and see all the other talent that's in this group. And let's see, check the description box for my social media links to connect with me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and more. And then let's see, you've subscribed if you haven't subscribed. And I want to thank you. I really appreciate everyone watching my videos, the comments that you give me. I try to reply to all of them quickly. I stay busy, so it may take me a day to get back to everybody, but I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate these encouraging words. There are some days that I may not be 100%, and reading those words motivates me. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good and keeps me going. So if there's something that you would like to see on my channel that maybe you want me to repeat, or there's a technique that you would like to see done, just a different version of it, let me know. I'll be glad to do it. Have a fabulous day, everybody. Bye.